Aloha from the blue corner. My name is Dennis. Before we get started today, we will tell you to obviously subscribe, hit that like button, and if you like it, obviously share the content. But why the Hawaiian shirt? I don't know. It's probably because this week the UFC heads back to Fight Island. So I don't know. We can all dream of a holiday, I guess. It would be kind of nice. But no, today's guest, if you do know the shirt, is a mixed martial artist from Sydney, Australia. He currently has a record of 8-2, which, funnily enough, I worked out yesterday, I actually have been live to at least half of those fights. So nice. I've at least been to 5 of them. But you know, he gets about. He calls himself the Wanderer, and I'm talking about none other than Ben Watson himself.
Live and original.
How have you been? How has 2020 been treating you, and what have you been up to?
Mate, absolutely. Pretty fantastic, considering that everything else slowed down for a good amount of time. So wasn't in a rush to do anything once that corona sort of took over and left us doing nothing. All the fights slowed down, and had a title fight that was meant to happen in April, and that got cancelled. And once everything slowed down, it was like I can slow down too, and wasn't needing to sort of hit the hustle and bustle or the sprint of what MMA sort of needs. So yeah, it took more than 10 seconds to be able to slow down and reevaluate a lot of things, and a lot of powerful action started happening. Ended up doing like a 72-hour water fast pretty soon into the corona, and from there had a massive amount of inflammation and good things like happened through the body, and now I'm also dealing with going on 100 days with no refined sugars. Just doing an all natural sort of diet, and also living a pretty carefree, luscious life, mate. The hair is long, the beard is trimmed, the Hawaiian shirts are on. We're eating breakfast like it's a full meal.
Well, it's a perfect day for it. Like, I mean, we're starting to really have those summer days right now, right? Like, it's really cracking.
Was it ever winter here though? Like,
yeah, I call anything under 15 degrees winter, man. Like, I'm one of those people, like, put me in 42 degrees and I'm still happy. I'll walk, you know, where most people are like, nah, let's drive in the aircon. I love heat.
Basically an Aussie. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Melbourne's too cold.
Look, don't get me wrong. Like, I always say, like, I hate humidity. I love the heat. So, like, I will do a 42 degree day with 10% humidity, i.e. Perth, over, say, a 26 degree day with 80% humidity, right? I'm not a fan of the humidity, but, you know, I do really enjoy the heat. Yeah. That's just me.
The heat gives you that ability to, like, move and actually, like, cultivate good energy, I feel, man. With the cold, it's like, don't really want to do too much, you know?
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, other people have said, like, you know, people that love winter, they're like, yeah, but you can always put another layer on, where with summer you can't actually... Once you're down to no layers, if you're still hot, you're kind of stuck, right? So, I mean, I do see that point, but, like, I'm like, look, as long as there's no humidity, I don't really feel the heat. I love the heat, right? Like, that's just me. I'm a summer person.
I'll second that as well, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, so has 2020, like, how have you been using 2020 right now? Like, I mean, obviously you talk about the pandemic and doing these, I guess, fastings and so forth. Yeah. And and are you doing that, I guess, more because now's the time to kind of experiment with these different options because you're not currently in a fight camp? And because, I mean, I don't know, going back to my younger days when, you know, play sport, my coach used to always say, you know, don't try something new before an important game, right? Like, he always said, like, if you drink Gatorade, like, all year round, you get to the grand final, don't start going, well, now I'm going to drink water because it's the healthier option. He said, like, if it got you there, don't throw it in the mix in front of an important game. So, yeah, are you, like, because it's weird, like, some people have really used this time to reevaluate. Some people have used this time to get ahead. Some people have used this time, I guess, to just chill out and let the body recover. So how has the pandemic affected you, I guess?
Yeah, it definitely affected me huge. It took like a title fight that I was going to become the best in Australia in, and took that off the cards, and so it enforced me to slow down huge. In essence, that's why I love MMA, because it's like a sprint. It makes you put that like dedicated time in. But when the pandemic hit, it was this opportunity to slow down and reevaluate, I guess, in my own patterns and heal these injuries that I've definitely picked up through 9 years of just putting balls to the wall and going all out no matter what the injury was, and always just showing up. And it's gotten me to a good place now, but through this time of actually slowing down and not reevaluating, but looking at all of the movement patterns that I've been doing, the way that I plug in the phone, or the way I cook my food, or the way that you just like, I guess even swimming, like there's these elements of your own movement practices that you can improve on. And I delved in deep into that. And so during this fast, this 72-hour water fast that I was doing, that's where it like started to really dawn on me about, you become very aware of these specific movements because you've got no energy. You can't, you don't waste anything. You have a certain amount of energy for the day that you're like, okay, I still want to go down to the water. I still want to get into the, and you go about this now more precise and more diligent. So it made me like check in with myself and even look at the way that I was walking upstairs, making sure that my alignment was correct. My ankle is aligned over my knee. My knee is over my ankle and my head is over my foot, and coming up each stair with the correct posture and correct alignment. And through that, I found like this massive imbalance that was dictated towards my right side being the dominant side, and my non-dominant side falling behind a lot. And that then sort of helped me cure this nerve pain that I've been battling with, that has been in my left hip, that would stop me and debilitate me from training, because it was just so painful that I'd have to sit on the sidelines, and even mid-fight camps, 3 weeks out or something, I wasn't able to train purely because this nerve pain in my hip was just so, what do they think? It's called sciatic pain. And I guess like this pandemic has ended up making me a better person, because through looking at what all these actions that I've been doing daily, if you did one thing, if you're always leaning with one ear to communicate and look that way, well, guess what? That is putting strain on your neck. If one ear is always trying to listen, you're always turning that way, you're putting strain on your neck. That will then distribute down into your spine and probably put some pulling action onto your hip as well. And so these patterns that I became aware of that I was doing during my normal daily process, not the way that you shower, but the way you chop your onions, or you get up out of bed, the way you get off the floor, even like instead of getting off like a slouch, you actually should sit up correctly with good anatomical posture and a correct alignment. So I've been able to assess how to move their hands and the body completely better and become aware of what I'm doing. So ultimately, it's been an amazing year because it's a huge amount of growth, and it's non-stop, because we have the opportunity as human beings to change our evolutionary tract, and we can be these not dormant beings that look for comfort and cozy opportunities through struggle and adaptations that we put onto ourselves. Humans will evolve and change, and it will only take like one generation that you can hand down bad genes to your next kin. And so I'm looking to now continue changing my life and all the people around me and help them evolve and help myself evolve as well. So, man, it's been a massive year and keep watching this space because there's some cool things happening. And I kid you not, though, I'm very excited to fight if that was to open up soon. Like, definitely staying ready, but need about 6 weeks to get the sprints down pat, because that's what MMA is. MMA is that's why I like it, is because it makes me remind that life is a sprint and that life isn't about just always slowing down and letting go and relaxing, because that's what Uber Eats is about. You know, like, oh, don't go up and go and walk 10 minutes to go and get your food. Sit there, wait for it, and we'll bring it to you.
And next they'll probably have someone who actually like charges you something else and they'll actually feed you, right? So all you got to do, right? Like
something coming out of the chair, bro. You know, right? You put it in your chair and it'll come out.
And if it isn't going to happen, or if the concept hasn't come up yet, it's mine. It's my idea. I'm putting the patent on it right now.
Yours.
But like, what inspired you to go down this direction? Because like, was it a case of you know, like sitting at home looking for things to do, and you kind of like became more aware of your surroundings and, as you say, of your emotions just out of force of habit, or did you know, get inspiration from somewhere else? Because I know when you talk about motions, you know, the classic example was always the Conor McGregor thing, right? Where you know, Diaz called him out for obviously his antics in the park with his partner and stuff, and you know, that
his movement was the key to him winning these things, right?
And he was the first one to really put a spotlight on something like that, about having range of motion and things like that. So like, and I'm not saying you picked up inspiration from him, but like I'm saying, did you pick it up from somebody, or was it just something that you, as I say, you're kind of like sitting at home in this pandemic, in the lockdown, going, I need to start thinking about things to do, and you know, sometimes that's a good thing. Your mind starts ticking, and you know, you come up with things that you really go, man, I don't know why I wasn't doing this any sooner.
Yeah, ultimately I reckon I'm definitely a creative at heart, and so movement is one of my big fundamental keys. Like movement, sleep, diet, and happiness have been like these big keys. If you have them all in action, like, then you can be creative and you can have these I guess like free flowing ideas. But man, it ultimately started from me wanting to heal myself. Truthfully, last year was one of the toughest years that I've ever fought through. Had deep staph that I must have picked up in Thailand, and it just fucking got underneath my skin follicles. And so I was just going back and forth to the doctor and still fought twice and deep into the medication and stuff. But that wasn't a reason not to fight. It was just something that had been hurting me in with my organs and stuff. So I started doing some research, and that's what led me into doing the fast. And so what's powerful is you realize that like the internet is this amazing thing. It's an amazing place of like people that push themselves or have just gone out and done their own research. So started researching certain things, and from there it led me into this fasting, and people have been doing 40 days of water fast, and so I read that.
So what's the deal with that though? Like, so water fasting, because the way I would see it is that you just have water for whatever amount of time, right?
That's it.
But when you're talking about like 40-day fast, they've got to eat something. You can't survive. You can't survive on water for 40 days, can you?
You can though. You can, because you're not trying to do athletic endeavors anymore. You're now just trying to survive, and so your body will do what its natural mechanism is. It's to help you survive. So it will create these. I don't want to be a scientist, but it will create things to help you survive, and so ultimately it will eat away at the fat cell storages that are all around your organs, around your bones, around your joints. And so after 42 hours, so before the second day, I was already in ketosis, where I was burning all of the fat storages, and my piss like turned like a good yellow. It was
But doesn't water make it go white? I thought the yellow means dehydration. So if you're
but now that you're burning your fat storages, you're now in ketosis. So you're burning off all of these storages that are around your organs, around your bones, and it's your body holds on to these things, and so there's plaque even into your deep intestinal tract, and so your body will try and burn that. It will burn that and then eradicate that out. And so even though you haven't eaten anything, you're still dropping some little nugget poops, and from there your body is flushing the system out. So the people that do 40 days, they will lose like quite a bit of weight, I think 20 pounds, even something 25, 30 pounds. So I stopped after 3 days though, purely because I'd gotten rid of the plaque that I was like trying to get out of my intestinal tract that was from the antibiotics that I'd been taking all last year, 6 different antibiotics to try and get rid of this staph thing. And so
you had it pretty bad.
Oh man, it was not going away, eh? It was it wasn't nice. It was constantly there. It was a tough going. So yeah, I'd taken 6 different antibiotics, trying to like mitigate it, and we got rid of it eventually by doing a little biopsy and like a cut out of it, and then from there we were finally able to localize a specific antibiotic that got rid of it, and then cut to what are we in? And then March this year, the pandemic starts. My fight in April had fallen through, and I was like, scrap this. I'm just doubling down on me right now. I don't need to rush. Let's fix this problem. And man, it was very challenging, to tell you the truth, because I love to move. When I wake up in the morning, I instantly have this analyzation of like what my body is sore, where am I hurting, what's going to be my limitations today, and what do I have to work around in order to make sure that I can get my bag rounds done, or go and throw high kicks on the rocks or something like that. So without food, man, you end up really just having to search inwards, I guess, a little bit. Not able to meditate, not able to do virtually anything, because you don't have the energy. And so scrap doing 40 days. I had a mate that I think he got like 7 days during this pandemic, man. And I was like, "Phew, this is uncharted territory, man. Like, you're a pioneer on this." But I'm still not getting inspired to do that, because I'm trying to grow and get bigger and stronger at the moment. So had to slow right back down, and that's where you become very deliberate in every step and every action that you're taking. And you sort of, through this is where like a big change happened in my life this fast, because I understood that the food that I'm putting into my body is also medicine. The food that you're putting into your body is a form of information. Now that information is completely different between a pineapple or a banana. Okay? And even with the soil that it's grown in will give it different information, because that soil would have a different makeup and give it different nutrients. So once I started looking at food like medicine and information, I was able to make this huge switch and start, I guess, this next journey of no longer healing, but also getting stronger and evolving into a new human, into a apex predator.
And it was going to be my next question, was literally like about dieting, you know, like and the reason being is I know that you post a lot of
green shakes.
Yeah, and also like, you know, like you've posted stuff of your meal preps and stuff, and I was actually thinking like, are you vegan, vegetarian? But then I also saw you post a thing where you're like, if there's alligator on the menu, you'll eat it or something like that. So, you know, like, yeah. So what is your current sort of dieting situation? Do you stick to specific diets? And also, I guess, do you have different diets for different moments in your life? And what I mean by that is like, do you switch it up between, say, being in camp fight week and say your rest of the year, like because I know you eat pretty healthy even right now without a fight coming up.
Correct.
As you said, you've cut out all the sugars and stuff. But is that, as I say, do you, for instance, do you have a cheat day? Do you or normally do you have like do you have like a cheat month, a week, or whatever? Because sometimes with these fighters, you do see they have fight camp and they get into such good form. And then, I mean, it's easiest. You win. You go out that night. You party like a rock star, right? Yeah, you have a few beers. The few beers then go
superstar. Want to be a superstar? Tell me how to be a superstar.
Then the few beers lead to like a pizza at 3 a.m. in the morning,
and that's all right. That's all it would be. Just a pizza at 3 a.m.
Right, and you sort of go down that path. But no, like with your diet, do you? As I say, you do take it pretty serious. I saw that a lot of time, and that's where I guess the vegetarian side came. I know for a while there you were you were talking all about plant-based. And I was like, oh, is he going down that path? But then, as I said, it kind of rocked me when you posted. I don't know if it was alligator or if you were just talking about alligator, but
it was alligator. Yeah, it was Australian crocodile. It was that is a new one added to the diet. I've been down that path, man, where it's like you do all this amazing work for a fight camp and you're doing everything correct, and then this one fight, this one like milestone moment, and then you decide to just like go back into these old ways. And now looking back on it, man, it was an absolutely horrible way to like go about my life, because ultimately I got in this to be a martial artist, to have martial intent with all of my movement, to have that also in my movement, but also in my diet, my lifestyle. And so looking back, that was all learning curves, and just information for me to feed off so that I don't go back down that track, because it's now a progression that I'm not taking. I'm not trying to not take days off. I don't take days off because a cheat day means that I don't move as good the next day. Now, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a good brie cheese or a blue cheese with a cracker that doesn't have any sugar in it every Saturday or Sunday. But man, it's now no longer like trying to live for this milestone to build up into. I'm building on the momentum that I've already built, and I'm going to keep that going. So I was vegetarian for a long time. I think it was all of 2017. Until I went in December when I was in Europe, and then I started eating ribs again, which was freaking good. And
how did the vegetarian side of things work out for you? Like,
it's great when I was doing it, man. It was great for the moment. It helped remove inflammation in the body, give me lots of energy for cardio. And it was really interesting. As soon as you switch away from the idea of like, oh, I can't eat this, I'm not able to have steak anymore, and you start looking at, what can I eat? There's so many options, man. Like, fuck it. We've been on this planet for so long that we've figured out like that we can like take different plants and make all these different amazing meals with them, and just throw a little bit of spice on them, and they're actually really good. So I enjoyed it, man. It opened up my my plethora of diet, and discovered new ways to cook, which is always fun. And ultimately, it was a great little opportunity. It helped me calm my mind. I used to be quite an intense kid as well, and
definitely.
Been firsthand with that one. Don't want to do interviews right now because it's a weight cut. But yeah, so it was a great little transition for me, trying to understand and get in tune with my body even more, because as a martial artist, that's what you need to do. You need to be aware of your whole surroundings and your whole being, and understand what you're doing in the space at all times. And so, at the moment, what I'm doing is an idea of a rotational diet. So every 4 days, I'll switch up. 4 days rotation. I'll do 1 day of like fish, 1 day of lamb, 1 day of like pork, and 1 day of like beef. And
so, but when you're saying like when you went to the was it vegetarian or vegan?
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian. When you went vegetarian, you're saying
Vegan's very challenging to do, by
Right.
the way, because you have to stop driving a car. You can't be vegan and still drive a car. You have to.
what you need a push bike.
You fucking oath. You have to change your clothes. You have to do all of these other elements. Like you have to stop using certain soaps and stuff like that, which I don't use at the moment. But like that's the ultimate thing. Like that's very challenging, and I don't believe anyone is actually doing it. And it's a horrible thing to be able to do for your own health because you're actually not looking out for your own body. You're making yourself a lesser to save other beings, not other beings, other animals. You're an animal too, so yeah,
Species.
and so that helped me get back into it, where it was like, oh, I actually care for these beings as much as I did for the plants, and a plant is also a sentient being as well. So I am grateful that it is able to be on my plate, and same that I am grateful for this meat in this the same way. So
But yeah. So my question was
sorry.
like, when you went vegetarian, you're saying you felt the energy. It was cleansing. It had all these good things.
yeah.
Why reintroduce meats, whether it be fish, whether it be pork? Why reintroduce? Like, if the vegetarian lifestyle was so fulfilling in a sense, why reintroduce? Like, why come back to the dark side?
Oh, naughty. Because it ends up the reason why it goes down to the point of why it feels good at start is because you've eaten one way for so long that your body it's now accustomed to this way. So as soon as you remove and eliminate, then it allows this sort of flushing effect. And it's the same as an elimination diet. Why people go into the carnivore diet and feel amazing. Well, that's because you've taken other things out of your diet that no longer are giving you that inflammation that it was. And so what happens with vegetarian, you feel great for a long time or for a good amount of time, and then it just doesn't give you the same bang for the buck anymore. There's a limit to it. And so I wasn't able to put, like, my energy was good, but it could have been better. And so by having the extra bit of protein, which actually, like, when you're breaking muscle fibers down, you need to get that sort of extra, I guess, fiber, muscle. What am I trying to say with the meat? Meat has a more denser protein to help repair those muscles.
100%, because I mean, when they brought out that Game Changers, right, and they were talking about like all the vegan stuff, there was a guy that kind of broke it down and said, yes, like you can get the same amount of protein from, say, lentils or whatever, but he was like, for you to get the same protein as, say, one steak, you would have to eat like 3 kilos worth of lentils. So he's like, then it becomes a point of like, do you overeat or do you lose? Like, so like
Nice.
the debate isn't whether you can get those substances from just vegetarian meals, but then it's like, how much do you need to eat to get that same amount? And you know, it's like, pick your poison then, right? Well, it kind of is, right? Because you're kind of like, well, do I overeat? Which is not healthy either. Like, I mean, to eat 3 kilos worth of lentils, I guarantee you will probably make you feel slow, lethargic and all that. Or do you go, no, I'll eat a normal serving, but then I'm not getting as much protein as I would, say, steak. I mean, I'm one of those people that I'm not a vegetarian, but I don't eat much meat, if that makes sense. So like I don't know, like I'm not a big meat eater, but then once a month, I literally say once a month, I'll get a craving for it, right? And so I always say, like, I don't specifically follow any diet. I just kind of, I guess, listen to what my body says.
Well, that's good.
Some days it'll just be like, I feel like a steak, and I will eat that damn steak, right? Like, sorry for all the
You'll
vegetarians
probably feel
out there,
even
right?
better than ever because you were in tune with your body and it gave you that signal and you listened to it.
But I've been...
And that's what people are missing,
Yeah,
man. They miss those like significations of like, what does my body need at this moment?
I'm the same when it comes to sleep, right?
Okay.
Like, so we
Fundamental part of like everyone's life.
We sleep. There'll be the odd case where I'll set an alarm because I've got to go out on a shoot and there's no other option.
Have to, yeah.
But generally speaking, I finish my day when I'm tired and I wake up when I wake up. Like I try not to set like, it's 10 o'clock, I need to sleep now. Some days I sleep at 8, but some days I'm up at midnight. Like, and it's literally, I'll just doze off whenever I doze off and I'll wake up whenever I wake up. As I said, occasionally once in a blue moon, I'll set the alarm, but
well, so that was a huge little area for me during this like start of the pandemic, because after the fast, mate, I didn't have any like goals I still had goals and aspirations, but I didn't have this milestone point where I had to I have to get to the cliff at this exact moment. So I actually went real into the point of like trying to tap into my circadian rhythms and listen to my body and to exactly what you're saying there, but start the day when the day was rising, when the sun's up and getting up and moving with the day. And then by the time that it's getting to that late afternoon and the sun's going down, dude, I was starting to feel tired. And like I would just listen to that sensation and start leaning into that and allowing that. And that's ultimately where the biggest amount of healing in my body and all of my niggles and all those little pains started to disappear, man, where you started to sort of get back into the nature side of things and listen to what your body needs. Because when you're like, I must eat meat because I have to be big or I have to be strong, like, no, like, what does your body actually want right now? And for me in 2017, my body wanted to be vegetarian, and it was very easy to go down that path when you need it, and so I guess like bringing it back into the full cycle of what I'm trying to achieve with my diet is now to understand what my body needs at a certain time, and so that like the cheat day will be involved with just having the reward of something that I yearned or wanted, and so also earned. You know, like I had the crocodile steak last night. And it's like, man, I put in some effort today, man. It was like a joyous blessing when I was eating that food. Because
what is crocodile steak like, by the way? Because I don't think I've actually tried it. I've tried kangaroo before.
Yeah, right. What was your thoughts on kangaroo, real quick? What is it?
Well, our one was like my story on this is a bit weird, right? So I did this. I don't know, the bash cars. Have you ever seen the bash cars?
Do you know that across the country?
Yeah, right.
That's fucking awesome.
So I did that, and we went through, like, we went all the way up to is it Cairns? No, not Cairns. What's it? Darwin. So we went from from the naval base here up to Darwin, 2 weeks, and I think it was was it Brook? I don't know. It was somewhere. Some country town that we obviously stop. You stop at every stop, and I had local family approach me, and we got along really, really well. Right, they had 2 kids, and obviously with the bash, it's for the variety bash, so you have toys for the kids and stuff. And you know, the dad came up, and he was really cool. So he invited us back to his place. And I was a little bit shocked, but I obviously didn't want to say no. But like, so we get...
Got to try it. Yeah, you got to try it.
No, but get this. So we get back to his place. There's the kangaroo on the living room floor. Like I'm talking about, like they obviously hunted the kangaroo, right?
Of course they did.
And he's like, you ever try kangaroo? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you're about to, right?
Yeah, you are.
Cuts this thing up, puts it in the pan. I don't even think he put spices, anything on it. I thought it was a little gamey. I really did. I was kind of like, and as I said, maybe because it didn't have any sort of flavors put with it, or like he literally cut the steak off, put it in the frying pan, and there's your little sample. And I was like, oh, like, and also I guess it makes it a bit different when you're actually seeing where the steak comes from. Like once again, like, you know, as I say, we do eat, but when you see the animal, that I don't know, let's just say it wasn't my favorite meal.
Okay.
It really
Okay.
wasn't, and it's probably to a point where I don't know if I would try it again. Like I know.
Whoa, okay.
I have tried since then. Jimmy a couple of times got some like kangaroo meatballs or whatever, and do it that way. But like that's
Which, if you read the ingredients, are full of sugar. But yeah, like they're not bad. But like the ultimate thing is, it's definitely a gamey meat, and the same thing with the crocodile meat. It's tough, but man, it's not bad, hey. It's not bad. Put a little bit of butter on it. Put some like fresh parsley.
See, and that's what I
Ooh.
mean. Like, I think it was missing. I think it was the fact that he just
Some
took
spice,
it and put it in the pan. I don't know, maybe flipped it a couple of times, and gone, like, I mean, he wasn't making us a full dinner. He just wanted us to try
Try it, yeah.
like,
Apparently the tail is really good. I've not tried the tail. I've only had steaks.
I don't know about that. Funny story about that is
Okay.
my mate goes hunting as well. And so he caught a kangaroo, and same thing. He's like, oh, the tail meat's great. Da, 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 da. So he gave us the tail to give to the dog.
Okay.
My dog wouldn't have a bar.
shit.
Like, he wouldn't have a bar of it. Like,
It wasn't a North Shore bubble dog, was it? I'm
no,
joking.
it's Rocky the boxer. Come on.
Yeah, he's a boxer.
But yeah, he just like sniffed at it and looked at it and went, what are you trying to do here? And just wouldn't have a bar of it. And I was like, well, if he ain't going to have it,
There's no
chance me having it. But no, look, each to their own. I mean,
Yeah, I'd try it if it was someone else was like leading the way on that one.
I mean, I definitely knew it was fresh.
Yeah, right? It's not like it's you could eat it there and then, like sashimi if you really wanted, but I don't really want to. Like to cook it more. But yeah, all about trying to open the palate and like try different meals and different cuts and stuff like that. And
So do you have full 3 meals a day, or do you do the whole 5 kind of snacks a day, or like do you have one major meal and then the rest is like how does that look for you?
And so this has been a big evolution in the last like 6 months, basically. I used to only do one massive meal during the like nighttime and like very like fast, or maybe even just have like light energy meals, because being a mover and trying to get the most out of my day, I don't want to have some sluggish digestion time. So because digesting takes way too long to bloody sit down on my ass. I don't have any TV in my house, so it doesn't get boring. It's not nice to sit down and just do nothing. So I would always eat light during the day and then have a massive meal in the evening. But flick the switch, because now I'm growing muscle and getting bigger and putting on some good weight and size on my frame. I'm doing 3 meals a day. I'm doing protein, pretty good proteins in the morning, and then maybe some fruits as well. And then lunchtime is my carbs, and then dinner is a bigger protein meal again. And
what's your go-to? I guess they don't need to be superfoods, but we'll just call them superfoods for this, right?
So what's good question.
What like if I was to say like 5 essential things that you think you have in most of your meals, whether it be, just additions or whether it's the main part of the meal, but like, what are your 5 kind of like go-to, not meals, but like, I guess ingredients? Like, what are your superfoods?
Well, like for the superfoods, you got to go with oats, because then it's like a good carb source. It'll be like chia seeds for sure. Bananas, man. Bananas have the best bang for buck. Apples, because apples, man, if you ever want to stop drinking coffee and get off that addiction, bloody relying on something, like stop it for 3 days and have an apple. Like that's got some delicious, good fiber in it, and it has a good like sweet bang for the buck.
I was going to say it's your natural sugar then,
yeah,
right?
it's huge, man. So yeah, what else? What is that? That's 3. That's 3. Look, the one that I've since this Corona thing, I've tried to stop eating anything that isn't locally sourced. So all Australian products. And it'd be amazing if you go and look at the ingredients, and they do that thing now where it's like 90% made in Australia. Well, don't ask the question why there's 15% made in Australia for the bacon. Don't ask the question, where's 15% of the bacon? Isn't a whole pig? But goji berries. I want to know, is there any locally sourced goji berries, or is that like a legit thing that you have to get shipped in from Australia? Because I do love a good goji berry here and there, and put that on the oats, put that in the muesli, and but I haven't been out. They're all from China, so let's see if the podcast can reach out and find me some locally sourced goji berries.
Imagine that, right?
That'd be awesome.
Your thoughts on like hemp seed?
Bang for buck. Yeah. You know, it's got some good iron in it, but so does other things, you know. Like it's good. It's nice to have it as a little garnish, you know. Like put a little, what's that, little salsa? Yeah, it's a good garnish, but not too caught up in it. The best one that I think is spirulina. If I was to put that on my superfood, spirulina and even beetroot powder, because beetroot powder is just this great thing of sending nitric oxide, I believe, and it helps populate red blood cells around to your muscles. So it's an all natural source of energy, and it just cultivates this like good pump. And spirulina is the most highly dense protein food on our planet. So if you get that into you early in the day, geez, it's a powder, and it's like an algae, and so you mix that into your smoothies or whatever, and it's got as much protein as a steak or whatever you want to say, but doesn't like take long to digest, so your body like can instantly use it as energy and repairing your muscles as well. So that's a big go-to in the morning, man. And
what about the acai bowls? Are you a fan or not? Like, do you? Because I mean, like, I'm telling you, like, I love them. But
you do,
like,
yeah,
right. But it's probably because they're sweet, right? Like, I mean,
sugar.
So much sugar. But like everyone,
Is there condensed milk on it? There's so much sugar.
Are you a fan, or do you think like, you know, like there's too much sugar? Like, because I mean, they classify them as healthy, but I'm like, man, like. I mean, mind you, a lot of the sugar is fruit because it's
that's
right?
So that's
like
where it
it's
cuts
the strawberries, it's the bananas, it's the apples, whatever they put
and
in
the
there.
acai plant it's also a plant, so it does have some sort of fiber in it as well. So I'm about it, man. Yeah, I'm fine for it because it comes from a natural source. I'm just trying to cut out with doing this 100 days of no sugar, or no refined sugar. I'm still eating honey, because that's a natural source of sugar. So if it comes,
do
from
you
a
have the
natural
refined
source,
honey, or do you actually get the honeycomb?
man, I'm the guy that looks in Woolies and Coles and goes up and like inspects the ingredients and be like, "What are you talking about? 15, dude." The one that blew my mind is that we get bacon shipped from China to Australia.
And you know where the Australian bacon goes?
Where?
To China.
It's
It's so weird. No, it's so weird. We have some of the, and it's not bacon, it's everything. We have some of the best meats, but we export them and then we import a substandard meat. Like it's weird. Like, but it's money.
It's Australia. Yeah, man. I'm looking at ingredients now on the back of things, and I was always doing this leading into fight camps and stuff like that. But now I'm doing it to supplement my lifestyle, because it benefits me so much better. And I like trying to find like local farmers and stuff like that. I found some honey out in Dural the other day. That was pretty cool. That was nice. So yeah, you can pick up eggs at little side stores and stuff like that, and you notice the difference, man. It's like a golden yolk in the center instead of this caged egg that's like I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking at the ingredients and stuff, man, and making sure that it's the honey is naturally sourced or 100% pure honey. Yeah.
So I have to say, only because we brought it up before, fight camp, and obviously you being the grumpy person like you once were. Like, I mean, when we first met each other, obviously you were a lot younger. You had the mean shaved head on you, right? You were quite the I won't say the angry type, because I wasn't around you long enough to call you that. But you did have that persona, right? Like you were like, and I get it. You had weight cuts and you were in fight mode. But I just feel like now, as I said, from the Hawaiian shirt to the grown out hair to the, just you seem more approachable now. You really do. I don't know. It's kind of like you're the Zen master now compared to what you were then. Was that something that you kind of had to flip the switch, including the look, right? Like, did you because as I say, like you look at photos from, a few years back to now, it's chalk and cheese, and from the look to the actual personality.
Yeah, huge. Look, man, I think it comes down to experience, because ultimately that persona or just me being aggressive was me understanding, or my interpretation of what I was going into, and that for me is this whole, it's a war going into a fight, and not only are you cutting weight and then asking questions for an interview like no, to do this 3 days before or something, like not today on the weight cut day, please. But ultimately it's your understanding through experience. And then I didn't want to ever lose. I didn't want to get embarrassed in front of the thing on national TV, because my mum's going to be watching. My mum's bloody avid supporter, but I don't want to get embarrassed on at anything. So, and as soon as you go through those losses and grow up a little bit more and understand that that the people that you love are still going to be there with you no matter what, it changes your psychology, and you understand that this world is the only experience that you allow it to be. And so I've definitely had a massive growth stage.
I guess where I'm coming from, and you're right. Like, you're in fight camp, you're in that mode. Like,
yeah, it's a war, man.
You got to fight,
bloody each other up.
I guess the difference that I sense was, back then I kind of felt like you felt like you were fighting everybody, right? Like I kind of and what I mean by that is, like, I would come ask you a question and it would be kind of like I was your opponent. Like, it's like, where now, yes, you're leading into a fight, but I kind of feel like you know who you're fighting and everyone else is still, as I say, you're a little more zen. I mean, I don't know. Do you meditate? Like, what like?
Yeah, I'm much more zen, man. I have taken up a lot of practices now that allow me to, be more, I guess, zen-like, and it's also my own understanding of what I'm trying to achieve now in this world as well. Like, back then, I just saw it as the moment, as I'm in kill. I'm going to punch heads until that neck gets revealed, and then I'll take that neck home. And now it's more about creating a better environment for everyone to grow and populate good knowledge and be around with. So man, definitely taken up meditation. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I'm still meditating. So at the moment, actually, 10 days in now, I know meditation is fundamentally great for you, and there's heaps of research out there. And once you look into the research, how powerful it becomes, that it's like, oh, I need to be doing this. But I just never could. I'm too ADD to sit down and make it happen. So I instilled myself to now I'm doing 100 days. It's called a gong. Chinese medicine calls it gongs. We do 100 days consecutively. If you miss a day, you have to start again on those 100 days. And I'm standing on one leg to meditate. So yeah, the meditation is becoming more and more a part of my daily routine or daily practices. And so I had to put a little bit of spice onto it, my own little spice, where it's like, man, you're not sitting down to do this meditation. Why don't you put a little bit of a challenge in there? And so the standing on one leg that's tough, man. That's fun. But I guess another element that I've also picked up is moving the ropes as well.
I was just about to say.
That's a good little segue. Can we segue into that?
Yeah, I was just about to say, is the ropes a form of meditation?
Huge. It's a moving meditation, bro. It basically takes you away from having to sit down in a cave to understand the surroundings in which you are, and it allows you to move your body in a meditative fashion. So as we as human beings and coffee lovers and just energy, and don't ask where the Mentosas are, they're right there. But we love to move, and so instead of trying to tell people to calm their minds and sit down, I think that something like the rope is cord of string that connects the two hands together, and that is a great tool to be able to access these realms of understanding, but also meditation, because through movement meditation, you end up, which is Qigong and Tai Chi and all of that, with movement meditation, you become aware of how your body moves in the space in which it is. And for instance, I can only reach this far. Well, that means I need to understand what I'm doing at this space at all times. And the rope allows that.
And I think it's the concentration point.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same. When it comes to meditating, I'm probably the same. I'm one of those people. I need to move. I can't sit still. And
so you had to go with it just before we sat down here, because there's no way you're getting me to sit down otherwise. But you had that sort of element, bro, where it was like, oh, I need to actually think about what I'm doing in order to achieve this.
And you don't even have to be. I mean, another thing I can compare it to is golf. And the reason I say that is
interesting.
I'm totally useless at golf. I've probably played golf enough to count on one hand, like maybe 3-4 times. I'm no good.
Not five.
Maybe 5. The Tassie 6.
The beauty. Yeah.
But it's weird. As bad as I am at that sport, I always came out of golf saying I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it not for golf. I enjoyed it as a form of meditation, right?
Interesting.
And the reason being is I was like, you can have a bad day, but the fact that you're now in motion, but you're having to focus on this one little ball, right? It's all true. Like your focus is that ball. It kind of means that all your troubles for that moment kind of go, it goes away, right? You've had a bad day at work, doesn't matter, because it's all about this ball, right? You know, you're having relationship problems, doesn't matter. It's all about this ball, right? Like everything goes to this ball. And so I came out of there like, obviously my balls are flying this way, and everywhere else. I'm hacking the grass, you know, like probably the same way as the ropes right now, right? I'm terrible, but I do
still got 3 moves. But
I do find it therapeutic because your mind has to, like, even if you're not getting the movements right, your mind needs to let everything else go. And I guess I call that meditating in motion, right?
And it's just a practice. It's a practice, and that's what meditation is about. And so like the real great thing that I find about the ropes and why I'm so passionate about it is because it's not invasive. Like I've got 56-year-old mothers that are like, oh, I stuffed up, but the rope hit me and it's not that bad, and they can keep going. And so this is why I really like it as an athlete, because it is about laying down these reps that you do not have to add wear and tear to your body. So you end up putting good information into your body through doing these reps that are non-invasive to draining you. So it takes it away from a working out into a working in. And working out is what? Expelling energy. But working in is about building energy inwards. And so that's how you stay in the parasympathetic nervous system and build energy in. And it's been huge because I've found that there's been certain ways that I basically grease out the groove, I guess. Like my shoulder would be sore from fighting off an armbar, or you know those Kimuras, someone gets a Kimura and you're like, I'm going to battle out of this one because my pride's on the line. And then that shoulder's sore, but then I start moving the rope and I'll grease out that sort of niggle in my shoulder by getting new, good oxygenated blood into it. And then the next morning I'm basically fine again. And that's purely because you're repopulating the body with good blood source. And I feel like that's a way that we would have done it back in like nature. If we were like chimpanzees or back when we were collective group, if you hurt your arm on a hunt and you didn't fix that yourself, you would not get to go on the hunt and you wouldn't get that next meal again. So you had to figure out how to unfreeze this shoulder of yours. And so you wouldn't sit there like going, oh, I need to go to the physio to fix this. No, you'd bloody start like testing it out and you would adapt it a little bit like, okay, that's the limitations that it's at today. What else can it move? Okay, a little bit differently today. And then, oh, maybe I can swing. And so through using the limb or using the injury, the injury thing, you would start to regain mobility, and the ropes are so powerful for that, because it's very, you can have what is it? You can do it very easy, or you can do it wildly. So you can do it for my 88-year-old grandfather who's just trying to work on his balance, just a simple movement, or you can be the wild man like me and a lot of my other mates that are trying to add this into athletic endeavors. And it's taken off. It's something new. It's very, very new actually.
Who got you onto?
Yeah, this is a great story.
Who got you onto the ropes?
This is huge. So cutting back into title. Corona happens. I'm deep in this fast, and I start like researching during the fast, like how long should I be doing this and stuff. And I stumbled upon, a friend led me onto a guy called Tim Sheaf. And Tim Sheaf, if you don't know him, he's an absolute pioneer of just keep watching him. He's going to just start making great things in this world. And he helped me on the fast just by like, he'd done a very big fast himself and documented it on YouTube. And then he started talking about the inventor, who is David Weck. And through watching, like just seeing what, like, I actually didn't even like watch many videos. I just understood that there was something here that I needed to look into. So during the fast, I went and bought some rope from Bunnings. I've got nothing else that I'm really doing, so I start plaiting it and just start exploring it. And then down the track, there's this like, they start releasing more and more videos, and ultimately that's where, like, as soon as I was moving it, I knew that there was something to it. There was some power, because when I had it explained that it connects the links between the two hands. Like, you remember as a kid that you've got those cups that you put on your ear, and then you put a cup of string.
With a piece of string.
Beautiful. And we can communicate now, right? And so it connects those two links to your hands, and you've got a dominant hand and a non-dominant hand. And so now you can communicate either side. You've connected the link. And so I instantly felt a change in what my left shoulder and my left side of my body was doing. And that's where the rabbit hole just started, man, where it was like, oh, I've been only doing this for 3 weeks, and I'm almost coming up to 40 hours of just doing this same figure of 8 pattern, which instills that you're balancing, because you're working in this figure of 8 just out in front of you. And so what's really cool is that anyone can do this. It's any piece of string, any cord, just a modality of a cord would be the goal. And that's what has led, if anyone's following me on my Instagram, there's like, I think it's like $900, maybe up to over $1,000 now of ropes that I've bought and like tested out, because there's different ones. And it's starting online, and so just pick up a rope and anyone can do it. But the what is it? It's, you're not trying to jump through the rope. When you jump over the rope, your arm goes down as your leg comes up. There's a disconnect in your upper and your lower half of the body. Okay. And so when you don't jump the rope and you have a little bit of extra weight, you're able to move this rope with your legs and with your arms. So your whole body is your whole body is working in unison to be able to move this rope. Now, if you are sweating or it's becoming challenging, then you actually might be doing something wrong, and then you'll have to make that adjustment. Because ultimately, you could be able to do this moving meditation very smoothly, very easily. And so by making those adjustments along the way, you find so many little lessons and levels. And if anyone's out there it's trying to like have a go with this or is skeptical, test it out yourself. Just pick up a rope or get on my Instagram, send me a message or whatever, and I'll start you on the journey, because it's a game changer, because it will instantly give you, it's such an instant turnover that it will give you feedback straight away. If you are, as soon as you go to walk again, or like once you put the ropes down, you will notice that you are moving against gravity or are moving through your space a little bit differently. And that's the sort of things that I like to stuff around with, or I like to work with. Things that give me feedback that I'm like, I know this is working because it feels right. I don't need to be like, oh, well, maybe if it was a different temperature today. No, if it either bloody damn well works or it doesn't. And that's the things that I keep like stumbling upon. And there's been a few lately. Like the one that I just put up recently was this filled a yoga ball with water. And I had to tip some out because it was a little bit heavy at start. But just moving it was like this mad amount of rotational power. And you could feel everything, like your obliques moving and all of that. And it was like, oh, this has feedback instantly that I know is working. It's not like, oh, I need someone else to tell me, is that muscle working? Do you feel better now? No, man, I know it worked because I feel it. And so everyone that is out there that hasn't been, that is still jumping through the ropes, learn the 4 fundamental patterns first and then jump through it. But ultimately test it out yourself and have a go and let me know on my Instagram. I changed my name to the Wandering Ape because I didn't want to be that young, aggressive kid anymore, and I wanted to be more approachable. I wanted to be more approachable.
But let's not get it twisted. When we're talking that he's zen and more approachable, I had to take a couple of beatings, right, to get you on here, right? Like,
took you a while, man.
It took me a while, and I took a page out of I guess the Diaz brothers book or
Covington, maybe a little bit of Colby.
Well, no, I wouldn't have gone down there. Like, he crosses a few lines that I don't think I crossed too many lines, but
just a bit of a menace, mate.
I had to talk a bit of shit for him to take the bait and actually come on.
Absolutely enjoyed it, mate.
I mean, the balloon with the water.
It's a Swiss ball, mate.
Balloon. Swiss ball with the water. Like, it kind of reminds me as well. Have you ever seen those gadgets that are just, I don't know what they are. They're like a ball, but they got like a gyrating.
And they connect it with a cord and they
No. And you've got to get it on time. Like, you kind of roll it and if you're getting that beat correctly, it gets faster and faster, and the faster it goes, the heavier it becomes.
Oh, okay.
Right, and once again, it's to get that full motion. That they're kind of cool. They're just like a little gimmicky ball, and I think it's more to strengthen your hands and your wrists, but it's not bad.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to check it out.
But I did also see what's the deal with the helmet. The neck iron, iron neck.
Iron neck, man. Yeah, that's been that's gold. That man, when I was training in Thailand, the American wrestlers and the Russian wrestlers just have such good like necktie control that me as a skinny long giraffe, man, if I get tangled up in them and they just snap your necks down, man, there's always like some pain and coming back at it, like basically a whiplash from some of their snap downs. So when I came back from the training camp over there, I think it was like 2018. I was like, I need to assess this a little bit differently and rely on keeping not only the one thing that allows me to like continue being me, which is my brain, but this little bloody skinny neck needed to have a little bit of support. And so it was a good little purchase. I got it like when it was on sale. But man, it's probably the greatest neck strengthening exercise or neck machine out there. Allows you to do like 360-degree turns, but put resistance on your neck as well while being safe. So you're not actually compressing your vertebrae. So you're building muscles around your neck, which man, it's one of those things again. It, like, you feels right, and
The thing is, I never saw it, right? Like I honestly, I've never seen it. I saw it and I went, I'm going to check this out. And then I saw Chris Cyborg's using it. Iron Mike is using it. Like, and I'm like, how did I not even know about this, right? Like, yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Like, I think girls' soccer teams are being studied about it now, because it's like removing concussions and girls' soccer teams, apparently, when they get kicked with a soccer ball on the head, I can only imagine they're not really bracing for that. Just trying to cover all bases, man, the same way that I'm not wearing any shoes anymore. I'm not letting fashion labels dictate what my foot is, allowing my foot's function to do. So, they're covering all bases, putting the getting a little bit serious, putting the things on the neck, but it has a purpose by preventing concussions and also strengthening, I guess, the one thing that keeps us alive, man, which is your brain and yeah, it's a good thing.
So I guess on all of that now is let's get to the fight stage.
Beautiful.
What is not even Fight Island at the moment. Your fight, unless are you going to Fight Island? What's going on?
I'm staying ready for it. I tell you that much. I'm staying ready for it.
Like,
give me a call. Like, I've got my email out there, right? They know who I am.
Well, I also saw that a while ago. You actually called him out, right? Like, because the UFC posted something about like, are there any short notice fighters? And you actually respond. Did you ever get a response from that? Or
because the trick there was they said email us, and I just put it out there on social media. So like I was just like, hey guys, I am here. Like, let us know. I'll drop of the hat. I'm there. And
see, they should have known though, right? Like, we're dealing with fighters. Like, it's like
can't send an email.
You know what I mean? Like, what's an email? But
so the ultimate goal coming up though was that before this second wave of Corona was to, I was hoping and really that they were going to do a Fight Island Australia for the AFC title down in Tasmania, and I was like, that would be bloody dope. Like Australian Fight Island, because that's what I've got lined up, fighting for the AFC belt, bantamweight belt. But man, other than that, we're not hearing anything back. It's all just shutting down because who really knows what's going on with this pandemic or.
But how hard is it to like now sit here? You see Fight Island happening, and obviously in Vegas they're having their matches. Bellator's now back in action, and they're doing, I think, Europe. I think they're doing one in Italy and Paris soon.
I heard,
So how hard is it to, I guess, be in little old Australia, right? Like, we're down here going, please. I mean, mind you, this Fight Island this weekend, I think.
Is it next? Is this next weekend? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Coolabell's going up as well soon.
8 of the fights are actually, not Australians, but like Kiwis, right?
That's
so
awesome.
But like, how hard is it, I guess, sitting here letting the year kind of not pass you by, because you have obviously put things in place, but
true.
You know, like, where are you? Like, are you hunting now for say a UFC Bellator contract, or are you still just hanging about to see when Australia starts to have fights again? Like, what is the deal? Like, because I mean, people talk also like this could be like another year, could be another like.
That's news to me. No,
but I'm just saying. I mean, I don't think it will. I think we're opening the Queensland border soon. Yeah. They've been having fights.
Yes,
but you know,
that's right.
anyone you ask, they always go, oh yeah, it could be mid 2021. Then, you know, people say no, at least 2022, this and that. Where's your mind at right now? Like, as in.
Man, like, ultimately my mind is in supporting the boys that are actually getting that opportunity to go out there. Like Coolabell is going out there soon. Malarkey with a full camp. So what's awesome about them is that it's now their first opportunity, basically. Did Malarkey get a full camp against Brad Riddle? I don't think he got a short call notice. Well, this will be his first time.
But I think he was already training, because he did the call out, right? Like, he called Riddell out, and that was his whole thing. So he was training, calling out, hoping that he would get that call, and he made enough noise to get it, right?
And now with like a full training camp, I'm sure it's going to like set him up to be able to show that he's recognizable in that position as well. So look, I'm just trying to brush shoulders and be around those people that are already in it. and just keep testing my skills and brushing up and sharpening my sword, because ultimately, man, I'm ready. I've got a lot of things in check, and if that call came through, man, I'm staying ready. I'm more than ready, and it would only take me maybe, let's say, like 4-week camp, maybe six at ultimate, to like just get the sprints happening again and get that like fight sharpness. But like, where am I at? I wanna become the best in Australia, man. I want to be definitive that I am the best bantamweight in Australia, and then take on the UFC. And I'm 28 now, so it's not like I'm saying, oh, I need a rush. Man, I've been in this sport now for 9 years, coming on 10. So it's going to be my time, and it's just about patiently waiting. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and even more, I'm grateful for the time that I'm getting to put in now, because with this pandemic or whatever it's called is just making me more sure of myself than ever, and more ready than I could ever be.
I guess it's just kind of tough, because generally speaking, you would say your age right now is you're going into your peak, right? Like,
yeah, true.
So say this was.
So hear this then real quick though, right?
But wait. So say this was like 8 years ago. A year, you're like, it's still the start of the career. If you're, in your late 30s or getting close to 40s, you'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll retire a year earlier and I'm out, right? Yeah. But like right now, like
it's a bit of a peak. Yeah,
you're in that. I always say around the 30, 32. So I'm saying like 28. You're going in. You're not there right now. But I'm saying, like, if we let another year pass,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like these are meant to be your big years.
Yeah, man. And so, what's really awesome about that is that I am just starting in my peak. Like, it's not like, I'm on the end of my peak. I'm just starting on my peak. And for these like last, 8 years, basically, maybe 7.5, I'd been doing MMA on the side. Like, as much as I'd been a professional and trying to be a professional about everything with my diet and my training and not working as much so I can train more, I was still having to, I was working night shifts just to make the extra money so I could have the food on my table and keep my rent going. And for the last, coming up 18 months now, is the first time that I've ever been able to basically be full-time and put all of these other areas back into place where which will allow me to reach my peak. So that all before was just homework and preparation, and now I'm finding my stride. I truly am finding my trying to open up my gait and find that good length in the stride, and it's happening, man. So I'm in no rush still. It's not sweaty palms just yet. It's like I'm a growing man, dude. I'm a growing man, and now it's I'm keep evolving. Each day is another day to get better, and it's not getting easier, but goddamn, I'm excited. And that attitude is not going to waver, even if I was 34, man. But I think if I'm still fighting on the 30 regional scene at 30. Yeah, probably. Like, it's not. I'm not going to try and fight like young 20-year-old, 21-year-olds at 30, man, and be like, oh yeah, I'm still going to make it the UFC. I'm happy. I'm a clever motherfucker. I'm ready to understand when my time is, and right now, man, I'm still rolling the dice on me and doubling down.
So is the end goal the UFC, or yes. would you be happy going to Bellator, for instance?
Look, if Bellator was there for the money, I guess it would be cool. But I started this to be in a jiu-jitsu black belt, bro. That was what I started to get into this, and then I moved over to Thailand and started having some fights over in Thailand, and then I stumbled into MMA, and so now I truly would like to have the prestige of fighting for the best organization in the world, which is the UFC, because I want to become the champion in the UFC as well, and that's still a goal, man. It still wakes me up every morning and wakes me up at night, not as a nightmare, but as a dream. That's a soundbite, right?
For sure. And obviously you're getting close to that black belt now too, right? You're what, brown?
I am brown belt under Thiago Braga, who leads the fight so good, man. He's always on the mats. I come up the other week and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, man, my collarbone's moving a little sore. And I was like, oh, that's the wrong thing to say to him. He's been on the mats every day this week. And then I'm sure he's got like ample amounts more of injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, he leads by a great example. And man, I'm excited just to put on the gi every now and again and get a lot more no gi in. But the gi is a big challenge, but still fun. So yeah, having fun with the jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Nice. And now, so we'll go UFC now. Fight Island this weekend, as I said. Like there's a lot of kind of like we'll call it local fighters, right?
I would love to be acknowledged as like that New Zealand and Australian, like because their land is so amazing, man.
Right, and I had
their
Johnny
produce
P.
is good as well.
I had Johnny P on, and he said the same
really?
thing. He was like, we should just merge the two countries, right?
Oh,
Like, because I mean, and because the discussion was we like to claim the Kiwis once they become very successful, right? Whether it's in acting, or whatever. But the two fights that I will bring up for this weekend, is first up is Jake Matthews.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
He's fighting Diego Sanchez. Right.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that matchup? I guess, how do you see that one play out?
I hope Diego does some cool cartwheel shit, man. You know,
yes,
it's always fun to watch Diego.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to see who's in his corner as well today. But man, Jake Matthews will romp him, bro. Like, the guy's young and fast and furious, and he's more like, good on Diego, man, for still sticking with it and stuff. And goddamn,
but he's now that 30-year-old fighting 20-year-olds.
That 30? I think he's 36, man.
I'm saying in your 30s. What you were just saying about you don't want to be that 30-plus athlete fighting the 20-year-olds, and he's bingo. That guy now, right? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he's still got his lifestyle coach or whatever it was.
Yes, that would be interesting.
To see if he's still in the corner, you know, which I haven't heard anything about.
The best thing about MMA, man, is that it's just such a wild sport. It's like, who really knows what's going to happen on the day? But there's all these little intricacies of like fun, and yes, that bring an element of like goodness to it. Which is why I love to like show up when I fight, man. Put all that work in and do a cartwheel when I get into the ring and like dance like it's bloody 1999. You know, like it's a fun time. It's a chance to show up and show out. So hence the breakfast shirts.
And on that one, since you like to dance, another one that likes to dance is Izzy.
Oh man,
right? He likes to break out a little dance, usually on the way out to the ring.
Cool stuff, dude. He's so smooth. And
his movement's incredible. But he's obviously fighting Costa this weekend for the title.
Yeah.
Big fight. Big fight.
Yeah.
In all sense of the word, like you know, it's a massive fight. But I mean, like when you look at Costa, like he's a big human.
He is, isn't he?
A very big human, scary. Yeah. But how do you see that one kind of play out?
I'm 100% on Izzy's side with this, and thinking that he's going to walk him onto the shots, and that Costa is just going to be laid out by walking onto Izzy's like movement and shots, and the Costa just has too much like raw ego in his movements himself that he'll get clipped, and then Izzy will dance and do a one-handed cartwheel on his way out. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch that. That's a huge fight. As long as also excited to watch like what is Brad Riddle, Kaya Francis as well, and
Shane Young.
Dude, Shane Young's that dude's a beast. Hey, him versus Volkanovski, when that like popped up on the scene, it was like, oh, hang on, what's going on here? Like,
dude, I've been a fan of him since
really?
going back to Brace days.
Is that where Shane was fine?
Well, Kai and I went to Christchurch a couple of times
Yeah,
to do the brace
Right.
Christchurch, and Shane Young was on the card, and I remember that, and I was like, damn, this kid's got something, right? So I was actually
Yeah.
really happy to see him
Signed up,
to
yeah.
make it. But like, yeah, I've kind of like before Brad Riddell and stuff, like I've been the I guess the Shane Young kind of fan,
Yeah,
like,
huge.
and it was because as I said, I was lucky enough to go witness him live in Christchurch, and
You're a Kiwi as well, aren't you, Dennis?
well, no, but like I grew up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That would have been cool going back and watching it in the homeland. That would have been.
well, yeah, and it was it was kind of sad actually because I grew up in Dunedin, which is below Christchurch.
It's a university city, if I'm right.
Yeah, Otago, and we made a lot of trips up to Christchurch, whether it be basketball tournaments or just school things, and I have a lot of fond memories. And then the 2 times we went back for brace, dude, like it was just witches' hats everywhere, right? Like it was like literally witches' hats everywhere. There was still rubble there, and I was
Right.
kind of like, what is going on here? Like there was one pack and safe open, and it was the earthquake. But it got to a point that I had to Google it. I was like, what, did it only happen like last year? And I Googled it, and it was like 6 years ago. And I'm like, how can this city 6 years later still be kind of in the state that it was in? And because of the memories and because of the time and everything, I was kind of like, this is kind of sad. Like it really was. So it wasn't the best trip. I mean, the fights were good, but it was, it definitely was. It hit a spot. Like I was more sad.
Yeah.
Not as in like this is sad, but like I was sad for the people. I was sad
Right.
for just that they haven't been able to rebuild.
You got to hope that it's a prosperous rebuilding though, and that would create jobs, and then everyone would start.
But a lot of them are
Rallying
moving
together.
See, a lot of them are moving
Moving
away
out.
from Christchurch,
Okay.
right? Like,
Damn.
but
Man. That's
I
heavy.
guess another Fight Island one, not this weekend. But
What's the one after that, by the way? Because Coolabell's fighting on that card later.
he's fighting next week.
Yep.
And then I think the week after you have Robert Whittaker versus
Dude.
Kenenyi,
Yeah, exciting.
right? So how do you see that fight going?
Yeah, come on, Whittaker. Whittaker's in good form, man. He's had time off now. He's rested. That UL is not any scopes anymore. Man, Whittaker's a beast, dude. The way he moves and just like constantly changes levels and makes it an MMA fight. It's that pure Australian pedigree, man, that Volkanovski has as well. Like the ups and downs of MMA. It doesn't matter if you're in a bowed spot. You're fighting your way out of it. And 100% Whittaker takes that win. Overhand will catch Karen here.
And I think that card is the debut for Jacob, who also just signed which is Robert's
Whittaker's-
teammate.
Yeah, that's huge.
And he's just signed, and I think they're on the same card.
Makes sense too. Yeah. that'd
Yeah,
be cool.
they'll go over, they'll quarantine together, they'll train together, and sort of battle it out. So just 2 more. The Aussies, we'll keep it with the Aussies. So we've got Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson.
Oh yeah, right. Far out. Megan Anderson's real long, eh? She's like, yeah. Damn. All right. I'm all supporting the home soil. That's awesome. I'm excited to hear about that. That's the first time I've heard about that. Yeah, gosh, that'd be cool if she took her GOAT status. God, Megan Anderson. Bit of a sexy tattooist as well. Yeah, no, go Megan. Yeah, go on. She'll win it.
And then last week's guest, which is Arlene Angerfist.
She was sitting here.
She's sitting right there.
That's awesome.
Well, actually, no, she wasn't on the beach, so it was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is my spot. This is...
But no, so she's fighting... Before Amanda Nunes, obviously, we had Chris Cyborg as the baddest woman on the planet.
Yeah.
And she's fighting Chris for the Bellator title.
Arlene could become the baddest woman in the planet. Like, that's... Yeah. And I think she can do it. She's got the fists to be able to do it. Like Cyborg likes to stand up and trade, like we saw with Amanda Nunes, and I think Arlene can catch her, man. Like she's a thrower, man. She throws power. So yeah, keen as beans to see that as well, actually. So how cool is that UFC and Bellator are like putting up matching cards now that like are just as exciting as each other's. So, man, I'm excited to see that. Like, that's huge to hear that Australia, like, just those two levels there, like, both
well, as
in
I
the
said,
women's sports.
Australian MMA right now.
It's on the rise, man.
Well,
It's on the rise.
it's not even on the rise. Like, it's in good.
It's
like,
there.
you've got Alex,
True.
right?
It's there.
You got Izzy.
Volkanovski's at the top,
You got Robert Whittaker. You've got the two girls fighting for the titles. Like, I'm just saying, like, when you really sit down and you're like, Australia, New Zealand, once again, I don't even know what we'd call it if we were to merge.
What's
but
it called? The ANZACs.
the ANZACs. But man, we're doing really, really well. But one more, actually, I lied. Khabib versus Justin Gaethje.
Oh, I'm just so excited to watch that, dude. That's sweaty palms because the car crash is going to happen. Like, you just know with Gaethje that, dude, that guy gets hit with everything and his eyes do not waver at all. Like, they don't close or anything. Like, yeah, I'd put money on Gaethje just purely because I think that he can do it. He can nullify Khabib's as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh yeah, but Khabib smashes. But yeah, I think he'll be able to defensive wrestle, whereas McGregor like engaged in the wrestle, and he'll create the car crash, which will then create like a rebound effect and lead to a cartwheel off the cage, which Khabib's not used to, and then Gaethje will be able to just be Gaethje, which thrives in the chaos. And man, that's what Khabib needs adversity with, is like that chaos. So I'm excited. I think Gaethje takes that as well, eh?
Nice. I mean, it's I wouldn't put money on it. Like, I'm not a betting man.
Like,
I'm not a betting man like you.
About
but like,
right?
I do see that there is a potential upset there. I kind of see that as well. But I wouldn't be like, I don't see it enough to put a bet on it.
Yeah, neither.
But look, man, like, I think, you know, we're going to wrap it because, I mean, I've kept you for a while, and especially with the ropes before. Like, I know, you know,
it's a long day, man.
It's been a long day. But before we take off, I always give everyone the opportunity to kind of like let people know if someone wanted to contact you, whether it's for a fighting opportunity, whether it's for some rope stuff, whether it's some dieting stuff. What's the best way that people can get in touch with you?
I guess the Instagram is where I'm most prominent at the moment. I'm pretty good at responding on there, so just send me a nice message and I'll be able to reach out to you at the Wanderer, the Ape. The little tag will be up there. That will be better. Yeah, so my mobile number is, no, I'm not giving you that. So yeah, just hit me up on the Instagram if about ropes or fights, I guess. But my Facebook is also there as well, but I just don't use it at the moment, hey. So yeah, Instagram would probably be the best. And if Dana White has my mobile number, call on up. I'm happy to fight bantamweight or even flyweight, I guess, but bantamweight's better. Or
heavyweight if the opportunity came up.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge. I'll dance my way through it.
But on that note, we are going to call it a day. I do really appreciate you coming out. I do obviously appreciate the Hawaiian styles. It gave the episode a little bit of a different flavour. And, you know, like I do want to see you back in action. The last time I saw you was obviously down in Melbourne. Didn't go to plan. But I do want to see you back in action as you do put on quite a few fun fights. And let's hope that the back end of 2020 comes to us in a positive kind of way. But on that note, we are out. I'm a